So, hello everyone. My name is Ryan Bisimo, and today I represent my case student on youth employment and skills mismatch in Lubumbashi, in Democratic Republic of Congo. So, I chose this topic because youth employment is an important issue in my community, and it affects the economic opportunities available to the young people. So, firstly, I first look at two important issues in my community. The first one is youth employment and skills mismatch, and the second one is urban infrastructure and waste management. I decide to focus on youth employment because it's strongly connected to education and job creation, and it's directly affected young people's future. So, youth employment, like you can see, high difficulty finding stable employment, gap between education and labor market needs, limited practical work experiences, weak access to professional networks, and young people often rarely on informal work. So, the job creation, I found like the rapid urban growth, limited waste collection in some areas, pressure on roads and basic infrastructure, environmental and public health concerns. So then we have the problem. The problem are limited formal employment opportunities. Skills do not always match employers and expectation. Graduates often lack practical experiences, limited internship opportunity, weak career guidance, and employer connections, limited access to professional networks, and growth of informal employment. So many young people in Lubumbashi struggle to find stable employment even after completing their education because some of the main challenge include limited job opportunity, lack of practical experiences, skill mismatch, and limited professional networks. So this means that the problem is not only about the number of jobs available, there is also a gap between what young people learn and what employers need. So after the problem, so who is affected? Who is affected? The primary stakeholders, the secondary stakeholders, the relevant GCGO, which is I divided by two parts: job creation and education. So the main people affected are like what I say, young graduates, employment, young youth, and students preparing to enter the labor market. So employers, university, government, and local business are also affected because they all play a role in the employment system. The two GCGOs I identify are education and job creation. Education helps young people develop relevant skills, while job creation provides opportunities them for them to use those skills. So the DCSP. So firstly, I'm going to start with describe and classify. So describe using the DCSP framework. I first described the problem as the difficult transition from education to stable employment. I classify it as an academic, educational, social, and labor market problem. So the main factors are skills mismatch, limited job opportunities, lack of experiences, and weak connection between young people and employers. After that, we have analysis. So when analyzing the problem, I found that these factors are classified connected. Some young people finish their students without enough practical experiences, and sometimes employers often look for practical and professional skills. So limited internship and professional networks can make it even harder for graduates to get their first opportunity. My main insight is that the problem is not only a lack of job, it's also a weak connection between education, skills, and employment. So after that, I have solve and future outlook. So there are several possible solutions. First, university could work more closely with employers to create internships and career opportunities. Second, Students could receive more practical and digital skills training. Career guidance could also help young people understand the labor of markets and prepare for job applications. So finally, supporting young entrepreneurs to create additional employment opportunities. If no action is taken, youth employment and the skills gap may continue. But while but with the right interventions, young people could become more employable and contribute more to job creation. So this is the end of my presentation. And to conclude, youth employment and skills mismatch in Lubumbashi is a complete issue that cannot be solved by one intervention. Education, employers, government, and young people all have a role to play. My main takeaway is that education needs to be more connected to the labor market so that young people can develop relevant skills and have better access to employment opportunities. So thank you for listening my presentation and have a good day. Thank you.